Hi, my name is Joshua Pei, and I'm in the Tech 380 course, and I'm doing my slides on the overpopulation and National Weather Service. Um, these are two different subjects, obviously, overpopulation and the National Weather Service. I chose these because I wanted to research both, and they seemed more interesting to me than any of the other subjects that you were providing. So let's just get right into it. So, overpopulation can be a touchy subject for many countries because there are many technologies that can remedy this issue, but are also deemed as wrong or against religious beliefs, as the technologies are things like contraception and abortion. And a lot of these countries allow uh, religion to get into politics, and that can really stop a lot of this. I found this quote from one of the research articles that I had found, which was in the developed world, some would suggest that pollution and desecration of the countryside are indicators of overpopulation because there are so many people living there. To start off with the definition with this, I guess, the condition of being populated with the excessively large numbers. China, and America are some of the biggest pollutants in the world, and it just so happens to coincide that they are the biggest overpopulated countries in the world as well. So I find that this is two things that just can't not be a coincidence at all. Um, there are many technologies that can prevent overpopulation, like birth control and abortion and any contraceptives that are out there. China has actually made legal abortion and is a government service, so they actually do provide it. China also used to take it to the extreme and have a one-child policy, where everyone could only have one child and that was it. You weren't allowed to have any more children. They've actually lifted that. I forget what the years were. It was like 2006. They lifted that. It's now a two-child policy. Um, Still, I don't find that to be quite a solution. I don't think people should be limited to how many children they're allowed to have by the government. India has legal abortion under certain circumstances, which is 20 weeks of pregnancy. So after that, they have to have their child. Um, they also have a two-child policy, just like China. So once again, the government is controlling their population by how many children they can have. Um, the pros of overpopulation, honestly, it can allow the country to grow rapidly. Uh, it can uh, allow the economy to boom, can create jobs to an extent before it actually starts to um, create problems because there are too many people, so now there aren't enough jobs. It can continue family lines for certain people. They may be the only male in their family, and to continue the family line, they do have to have kids to an extent. Um, Honestly, with overpopulation, I couldn't think of many pros that overpopulation can be. There aren't many pros to an overpopulation. To the cons, now I can think of a lot. It begins to rapidly limit resources as water becomes scarce, as we are obviously seeing in today's modern world. We are seeing a scarcity in water. Um, the life expectancy drastically lowers. So, obviously, overpopulation, things start to become polluted, and well, you don't live as long. Um, Usually the result of poor contraceptive use, which can usually be the result as countries don't allow a lot of it, or they try to control how you can have contraceptive use, like in America. Poverty, most people begin to have families to combat poverty because the government will obviously give you money. Like in America, we have a system where if you have children, you get benefits, which I don't think should be the answer to getting money out of the government, but that is a real thing. It creates distrust in the government when they start to control how the population and the amount of children they may have. A lot of people don't like it when the government tells you how to run your body. So I think that is definitely a con to overpopulation. Um, we will now go into the National Weather Service. Uh, this one's a little bit of a finicky one because National Weather Service is a little bit weird. But basically, the National Weather Service is a service that tells us the forecasts of the weather. They tell us if it's going to be rainy or if it's going to, be sunny out. They can also tell us about like things like tornado warnings, um, which is one of the flagship products for the National Weather Service. It's one of the big ones that they do. Another one would be for their hurricanes. They predict when a hurricane's going to hit. Um, they can measure the wind speed, atmospheric pressure, humidity, amount of precipitation. They can also report locations of weather storms, and they can take photographs of it as well, anytime, anywhere. Um, a lot of it amounts to, well, the weather forecast, which is what we usually see on the daily news of, like, what our forecast is going to be for the week. That's provided by the National Weather Service. The pros. The technology um, they have has become way more advanced than in the past. Predictions have started to become more precise, and with that has saved many lives, obviously. With hurricanes and tornadoes, if we didn't have predictions at all, people would just be sitting in their home and all of a sudden, more tornadoes on their head. So I think that is definitely a plus for the National Weather Service. The amount of false alarms have actually decreased since 2012. They actually, with technology and everything, has allowed them to become way more precise. The amount of false alarms has become smaller. Um, they can predict tornadoes, as I said, hurricanes, any large storms, earthquakes. That's definitely something new. They have some like technology that can feel when the rumble's about to begin, and they can actually send out a warning to phones to allow people to know that one is coming, but it's only by like minute or two. So that is a lot harder for them to predict, and it most likely will never become like they can predict it within the next hour or two. But it is a pro for them still. Cons. Once again, they can result in having false um, predictions, which can result in people maybe evacuating prematurely and spending money to do so, packing up their stuff, which means now they have to go back home and unpack their stuff, and it's just, that's money out of their pocket that could have been avoided if they predicted correctly. Um, it can be expensive to operate all this technology because it's constantly always running. It's never stopping. They're always predicting. They're always trying to see what's going on. This technology never stops. Um, um, People will see a prediction and they'll take it seriously, and that can result in, once again, people um, not believing in the other predictions that may be actually true and not evacuating, and then they're stuck in the storm. My conclusion for this is obviously with overpopulation, I would have to say that having the government intervene for certain things, I understand, but the government also trying to control your body and trying to tell you exactly what to do, I think they overstep a little bit. I think they should definitely be providing contraceptives and everything else for women so that they can not have children if they don't want to, and not have a government that listens to religion just because religion can. I don't think it should be allowed to influence the decision of politics. And then for the National Weather Service, I think the National Weather Service has definitely gotten way more sophisticated and technological over the years, and they've gotten way more precise with how they do things. And I think weather forecasts are a great tool for allowing citizens to know what to expect.